We bet you clicked on that title and expected to watch a countdown where we poke fun at the Pokemon shaped like an ice cream cone, or the one that is just a keychain. Nope, those Pokemon are awesome. This is a countdown of the top 10 most pointless Pokemon, the creatures who truly have no purpose, or if they were removed from all future games, no one would notice. There are 718 Pokemon today, 3 more if you're willing to Google what the hackers have found, and most of them are great, but this list celebrates the long-standing series' worst output. Before we begin, one ground rule. If a pointless Pokemon evolves into something cool, like the Magikarp scenario, it gets a free pass. By the way, this countdown was written completely by Kyle Bosman, because no one else was properly qualified.
Number 10. Carbink.
The joy of starting a new Pokemon game is jumping into the unexpected and capturing Pokemon that you know will someday evolve into something great. Starting X and Y and discovering Carbink, you just know it will have at least one more form, and by the end, it's going to be some gloriously hideous rock monster with fairy moves. Alas, this is it. This is all Carbink will ever be. It will never have limbs, or a mouth, or an expression, and it will always have a horrible special attack stat.
Number 9. Castform.
This is a Pokemon that was probably created out of a need for an advertisable gimmick and not from any form of genuine inspiration. Ruby and Sapphire introduced weather to the series, and so wouldn't it be neat to have a Pokemon who transformed according to the weather? No, it wouldn't. It would be annoying, and the designers knew it. In all likelihood, they created Castform just so they wouldn't have to waste an actually good design on an inconvenient trick that nobody asked for.
Castform Snowy Form!
Number 8. Gourgeist.
Pumpkaboo is another example of a Pokemon you would assume will turn into something great. A Halloween ghost monster growing out of a pumpkin. That's a lot of potential. Then it becomes this wispy goober we know as Gourgeist. Its typing is Ghost Grass, which is a cool combo, but Trevenant has the exact same typing and is a certifiably epic haunted walking tree. So there's really no need for anything like Gourgeist in anyone's party.
Number 7. Perugly.
Here's a Pokemon with ugly in its name. One would think that Meowth and Persian covered any need for cat-like Pokemon, but no, here's this one, clearly designed as something no one could love. The series has many Pokemon like this, straight normal types who seem to only exist as something to knock out the grass as you grind for experience points. Here's a Perugly fact. To make itself appear intimidatingly beefy, it tightly cinches its waist with its twin tails. That's just sad.
Number 6. Arceus.
Sometimes Pokemon games go a little too far in trying to go bigger than the previous entry. In Diamond and Pearl, it somehow got to the point where this Pokemon Arceus is the god of the entire world. To its credit, Arceus is by no means a weak Pokemon, but as a deity, it's not great. It's really just a spiky, no-face horse god that shaped the universe with its 1,000 arms and now fits in a Pokeball and sits between Grimer and Bidoof in your PC all day.
Number 5. Alomomola.
When you first looked at Alomomola, you might have thought that Game Freak finally evolved Lovedisk, another pointless Pokemon who was dangerously close to making this list. However, the two pink heart-shaped fish Pokemon actually have no relation to each other whatsoever. Turns out Alomomola is just Alomomola, a horrifyingly boring water type with eye makeup for some reason. In the Pokemon series, there are plenty of fish in the sea, and we can't imagine wanting to spend any time with this one.
Number 4. Licky Licky.
Sometimes it can be really nice when an old Pokemon from Red and Blue is given an evolution a few years later to make it relevant again. Just look at the majesty of Tangrowth. Licky Licky, however, is the evolution of the otherwise endearing Lickitung, meaning that this guy, again named Licky Licky, was supposed to be the superior form of this. The math just doesn't check out. In the process of this evolution, Lickitung loses its knees, gets a dumb swirl on top of its head, some sort of bib plastered onto its chest, and worst of all, its tongue looks shorter. Shorter! There's no question, things were better before.
Number 3. Jinx.
We tend to hold the original 151 Pokemon most dearly, like they were all perfect and everything afterward is overcomplicated garbage. Then, we remember Jinx. She's apparently based on a Japanese legend, but looking at her, she's clearly a lady with blonde hair, 2 eyes, and big lips, and 2 round orbs where breasts normally go. She's a lady. In the first game's Pokédex entry, Jinx reportedly seductively wiggles its hips as it walks. More discomforting, Jinx was originally depicted as having all black skin, but when Nintendo was called out for creating a potentially racially insensitive Pokémon, they just changed her skin to purple, which honestly isn't how defeating racism works.
Number 2. Fione.
Fione is the baby form of a Pokémon you already wish didn't exist, named Manaphy. It has weak stats and awful moves, but you tend to forgive these things because it's a baby. The problem with Fione, though, is that it does not evolve. That's right, the only way to obtain a Fione is to breed a Manaphy with a Ditto, and then you have this sad creature who will never evolve, forcing us all to witness the hopeless degradation of an entire species.
Number 1. Stantler.
Just look at this thing. We almost didn't even have to write anything. You look at its stupid puffy nose and cheeks and its weird deer butt, and it just screams pointless. There was probably a time where we could say, hey, maybe it never evolves into something great, and maybe it's a normal type with no good moves, but it's nice to have a deer Pokemon roaming the woods. That time's over, you goofy creep. We now have Deerling, Sawsbuck, and freaking Xerneas. So there's really just no room for you anymore, Stantler. You are pointless in the truest sense of the word, so maybe you should just go home. Go home to where we can never randomly encounter you.